Hello, hello, everybody. As we're coming on in, I think I'm just a little laggy on my end, so hopefully that resolves. But we'll wait a couple minutes for some people to come in. Okay. So this is going to be the second live stream of a lot. Hopefully, if this thing kicks off, if it's not something that people are interested in, then obviously won't continue doing it. But I thought it would really be fun for those of you coming in this time and not the last time. This is basically going to be a Q&A sneak peek into kind of my day-to-day as far as my new job goes with DC20. If you weren't here on the last stream, I did announce that I was working as a GM assistant slash dev for DC20, working with the dungeon coach and working on a couple different projects that he and I have been working on, as well as some future projects that we're excited to announce. Last time I did kind of go over the GM side of things, where I am helping him with his home game and prepping for those sessions, as well as in-world lore creation, so creating the lore and the backbone of DC20, as well as the a new character sheet option in Notion. So with that character sheet option, just something new, something fresh, something totally customizable that's not really in any VTT, but something that people can just grab and make their own in their own and I can kind of show you the progress of that on a second. But if you want to come in, ask questions, this is like a Q&A. This is something that you can ask both on my stuff that I'm doing, as well as the DC20 and how the progress is with that, because I'm currently in line with everything going on there. We've been hard at work with the the social aspect of the game. There's a whole new social system. Basically, how DC20 is working now is that there is the three pillars of the game: combat, combat, exploration, and social. And then each of those pillars has two more pillars, which are basically how the players interact with the game, which are encounters and challenges. So you have combat encounters and combat challenges, exploration encounters and exploration challenges, and then exploration or social challenges and social encounters, right? And so what all of those things mean and what they look like. Basically, your challenges are your skill, your challenge, your, what are they called? They're just skill challenges, right? They're the import from 4th edition D&D, where you have a challenge, the players make up what they want to do to accomplish the challenge, and then you roll for a certain amount of successes. And if you get a certain amount of successes, you either succeed, you fail, or you succeed with benefits, right? And so that's kind of the same on all three. What we're trying to figure out is, okay, well, what does the encounter look like? We kind of know what the combat encounter looks like, because that's the 4 action point system. You have your abilities that you use, and then you defeat the monster, you win. If they defeat you, you lose, which doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen, which ends up in a TPK, right? And so with the social encounters, what does that look like? And that's been a fun, interesting challenge that the team has struggled a bit on, because we want it to be something so different from combat or from social challenges, that the social encounters need to be something more dynamic, something that does have a consequence, an actual measurable consequence, and something that you can strategize and think about and actually accomplish due to your decisions rather than rolls of the dice, right? So that's been a fun challenge. If we're still waiting for some people to get on, again, ask your questions in the chat. Please do. We'll take a look at some of the things that I have been working on. So let's take a look at this. So this is the Notion. What's it called? The Notion character sheet. And with the Notion character sheet, I figured out a way to do resting, the resting system. Everything that you want for the resting system for DC20, you're gonna be able to do on this page. So again, as a recap for someone who wasn't here before, basically you create the entire character sheet on this Notion page, which is entirely customizable. If you've ever used Notion, you can click and drag different things around to have your own orientation of things, change the colors of things. You have your mana points where you can look at all the information there. Basically what you'll see here is the wires, right? These are the wires behind the TV. These will be hidden in the sense of publication, or when it is all said and done. All those will be hidden. So all you'll see is when you click on that, you'll see, oh, that's what mana points is, and the character can look at that. But it can also just measure them, reset them, and even, I figured out how to do this, is if you're doing a spell and you're like, oh, I want to cast Frostbolt, and I want to spend that, instead of scrolling all the way up here and basically pushing this down, you can push this and it will auto-populate. See, so you got 4. Awesome. That was incredibly hard to do. As someone who is not familiar with coding, has never coded before, has never delved into that realm and kind of learning it, it's been really fun to figure out. But again, basically what you'll do on this page for characters is you'll choose your class, right? We'll choose a barbarian, and then you'll choose your level. We'll choose level 2, right? And then everything will auto-populate. We got your hit points. New max is 12, other than the 8 that I was at a spell blade. So I'm going to reset those, right? In fact, maybe we'll just leave those down for a second. And then we got our defenses auto-populated as well with might. But that's still at 1. We can change that. And then our level ups, meaning that at level 2, make sure we get everything. So subclass features, I have 1 in there more than I'm supposed to, right? I'm not supposed to have a subclass feature until level 3, but I did put 1 in there. There it is, for testing purposes. So that's working. Obviously, barbarians don't have spells, so we got to get rid of our spells, our cantrip, and then it needs 2 maneuvers, and it needs a path point, and it needs a class feature, right? So it's telling you the things that you need on the level up, so that's good to know. And then all I'd have to do down here is go to my class features, and then either replace one that I already have in there if I needed to change something out, or add a new one and then choose a new one. And it's just a drop down, which is phenomenal. And then if I want to know what this means, it'll open up on a sidebar. I'm like, that's exactly what that ability does, right? And that same goes with the weapons and inventory. You can add those as well. Let's see, what else is new from the last time? Oh, I wanted to show you guys the rest system. So obviously, if you're taking a long rest, a classic long rest, you got your hit points down, you got your mana points down, you might even have a stamina down to the bottom. You need a long rest, right? So you go up here. Oh, actually, and let's even do this, right? Because you got your elemental staff and your reload. And every reload property weapon has a 1 charge, so you can track when they're unloaded. So we're going to undo those, and we're going to say that we got rid of 4 charges on our elemental magical staff, right? Which is great. So we're going to then go back up here, and we're going to take long rest, and it's going to heal you see our hit points, our stamina points. We go back to mana, that's all healed up, right? And as a barbarian I have less, so that corrected. And then we go down here. Oh, look at that. All of our charges are reset as well. Brilliant, right? Awesome. And it would do the same with abilities, right? If I had an ability set here, my Draconic Breath Weapon, if I used that, it would reset as well. So that's awesome. The next thing I would do is if I'm taking a full rest, which gives us benefits, right? If you know full rests in DC20, it's like when you're in a city or a town and you rest for a couple days, you get something extra because you're fully rested and ready to go. So, and that's completely up to the DM to decide on what those benefits look like. And those benefits are listed here, although they aren't exhaustive, right? DM can make up anything that they want. So a full rest would be, he could choose that you have advantage on the next day on something. right? Another full rest would be a temporary HP equal to your prime modifier. So your prime being 3, so you get temporary hit points of 3. If you get, or you can do it by level. So I'm level 2, so I would get 2, or 2 times my level, so I would get 4, right? Because I'm level 2. So if I did that, knowing my prime would be 3, and looking at my temporary hit points here, that's 0 currently, I can do a full rest and do prime. As you can see, sometimes it takes a second. But then I come down and temporary hit points is 3. Look at that. So, and then what's great about this is it doesn't stack. So even if I did full rest with prime and I did full rest with level, so if I click that, it's not going to give me 3 plus 2. It's going to give me 2 because it recognizes it's a new day, right? And then again, the last one, temporary HP 2 times per level, is 4. Awesome. So I got 4 during the next day. And the next thing is the advantage here. I'm like, oh, okay. So what does that do? Well, there's obviously the inspiration system, which normally you get like a D4, D6, D8, or some sort of dice for inspiration. So if I had a D4, let's even say I had none, right? Then I could press this one, so I get temporary HP, or I shouldn't say temporary HP, it should just say advantage. So I got to fix that. But anyways, I do that, and then, oh, look at that, I have advantage in my inspiration, ready to go, ready to use when I need to. And then whenever I use it, I'll just press none, right? Perfect. So that's really cool. The best thing that I figured out that I'm really excited about is the quick rests, right? So quick rests, all it really means is that you take 10 minutes, or on a short rest, like you take the full hour, which gives you a couple other benefits, but essentially the same thing where you're using rest points to give yourself hit points, right? To restore your hit points. So if I had a bad combat and I took down 6 hit points, so from 12 to 6, I have equal number of rest points, right? So 14. Oh, is that 14? Hold on. Rest points. Something's up. Oh, because I did the bonuses. Hold on. I had to reset these. There we go. Down here are just bonuses that you would add arbitrarily from features that you get. So if I got like a talent, right? Some things don't auto-populate because it gives you the option to do so. And that's another tangent on how homebrew works and making homebrew easy. Being able just to come down here and just give you yourself bonuses. So make sure that I'm making sure that the max rest points that I put the bonuses there is back here. So rest points should be 12. Yep, great. So then I come down 6 points. I got 6 points of damage in that last fight, and my rest points are still at 12, right? So all I want to do is on my rest, I want to go up to full hit points, right? Now what I can do is just go to my rest points and be like, all right, I'm going to go down 3 because I only want to heal 3. And then I go at rest points and I heal 3, right? And I can do that. But I don't want to do that. I just want to make it really easy. I know that I want full hit points because I'm not going to really have a chance to heal later. And so I'm going to have my hit points 6, and I'm just going to take a quick rest. So take a quick rest. Puts me up at 12, right? So I'm now max 12, but if I look at my rest points, oh, now it's at 6. Because it took that 6 from the rest points, and it put it straight into the full points. Now, if I continue to do that, right? So if I go to hit my hit points, oh, I had another encounter. I got 3. Okay? So I need to heal 3 more. I'm going to take another quick rest. Let's take another quick rest. So goes to 12. My rest points at 3 again, right? But then I got another encounter. Oh, I got 6 points more down. Oh, I'm half a point. I got to use the rest of my my quick rest, my rest points. I'm going to use that. But it only goes up to 9 because that's all I had left. I only had 3 more left because I only had 9, and then I go to rest points, and then there's 0. And so now it doesn't matter how many quick rests I make, my health is not going to come up, right? But I can take a full rest, a long rest. Here we go. Oh, get that back up. So nice. I get my rest points back. Super good, right? I am set. So super excited about that. One thing that I wanted to do was figure out some sort of a standard array point buy roll method, right? But as I was looking into it, it's kind of super simple, right? With the standard array, you get an assortment of 3, 1, 0, and -2, right? So actually, let's do that right now. So 1, Let's actually do a 3 because we're a barbarian. We'll do 1 here. We're gonna do 0 here, and a -2 in intelligence, right? A classic barbarian, possibly. And so with that, then I can gain 2 additional attribute points. Okay, well, maybe I can't do might anymore, right? I can't do that. Oh, because 3 is my max at this level. So it's super nice that it's going to keep me from boosting that up. But might as well just be 2 in agility. So I'm going to 3, 3, 0, -2. Pretty great. And what's awesome is that I go down to my level up, and it's going to see my attribute points is exactly where they should be. They're at a 0. That is at a 0, right? Now, if I didn't do that, and I did not do those 2 additional attribute points, it's going to tell me, oh, I have 2 more attributes points to spend. And this is going to, and as you level up, it's going to tell you when you need an extra point here or there. The thing is this is exactly the same as the point buy system, is when you start in -2 on all these things, right? So we're going to start on -2, -2, -2, and then gain 12 attribute points to increase whatever attributes you want up to the attribute limit of 3. So I'm like, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm in the exact same spot I was before, right? And so if I go to my level up, oh, 0 attribute points. So I don't need anything different than what I already have. The only issue comes up when you have the roll method that's like, oh, roll 1d6 minus 3 4 times, and then assign each value attribute to your choice. And I wouldn't be able to tie that into the system anyways, because that's a randomizer, and that it would really depend on what you roll, and so I would not be able to obviously compute that into, oh, okay, how many points do you need, because it's random, right? And so I don't really need that. And so when it comes to this, obviously if you did your roll method and you rolled really high and you got maybe an extra 1 on charisma and an extra 1 on intelligence, then this is going to tell you that it's a -2 points. But you would ignore that because you're doing the roll method, right? It's going to be random anyways. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a way, if I'm going to do that, to turn that off. But when it comes to like the prioritization of everything, maybe it's not the thing that I need to focus on. So easy enough where it's you choose standard array, point buy, or roll method. It's all there, right? So let's undo those. And if I do undo, I think if I change my might, yeah, so these auto-populate as well. So my athletics is going to be 3. If I choose something else, like my skills, if I get another point in a skill point that I can spend here, excuse me, I can get that up, but not too high because I'm not high enough level for 2, unless I, of course, did an expertise, right? And that's what that button is. It's an expertise. You can see that there. Cool. So there's that. What else is there that I needed to look at? What my next plan is to do here is I needed to... there's some couple magazine things that I need to add, which will be in there in the final. But I also wanted to add a system in here for the Artificer, as well as a system in here for the Druid, or a Find Familiar system, right? So that like you can just kind of grab that panel, right? That the panel for building a familiar or your wild shape, and just like have that at the bottom, so that when you wild shape, you know exactly what kind of creature you turn into, and that it's customizable that way. I think that would be really, really cool. And then once I do that, then maybe the Artificer system, because I already have for the GM, I already have the, oh, where is it? Equipment. Yeah, I already have the magic item creator for the Dungeon Master, where you can homebrew a magic item really, really easy, right? Because if you can basically, if I wanted a, again, for those of you who weren't here last time, a Hellfire dagger, right? I want a dagger has the sword weapon property. It's obviously held. If I wanted to make an attunement, I can. Damage. Well, actually, let's do this one first. So I want for this Hellfire Dagger, I did wanted it to be concealable, and maybe if I wanted it to be reach. Maybe this thing could be a really long, like, fire dagger for some reason. I don't know. It's a cool property. And then if you take a look at the weapons points over here, if I do reach, okay, then I'm 0. So I have the properties that I need for a mundane weapon, right? And then I wanted to give this fire resistance, maybe. Let's see, maybe immunity to fire, right? And then the magic points, obviously, is a 9. This is a 9-pointer dagger that gives me a damage immunity. And then I could also say that it does fire damage. And this should... oh, because it's not just a magic item, it's a melee weapon. There you go. There's your 1 damage. So that'll auto-populate. So super easy now to just create a magical weapon, giving it properties from the property table, right? So, and this is just a different database that is pulling information from that auto-populates other things. So, pretty cool. I wanted to make that in the... I'm just going to delete this. I could make that somewhere in the character sheet, right? Where they're able to do that. For now, they are just able to go to the magic items and choose something. So if I wanted to do a necklace of perfect health, right? Then I can just click and drag it. I'm not able to... This is just telling me where the database information is coming from. I'm not able to customize this magical item. So I want one for the artificer that's able to do that. Let's see, anything else that I needed to... I think that's really it. And then at that point, it's just after I make those 2 kind of database views, I already have for a monk. I already have the key points. Now the fun thing is this only gives you key points if you choose to be a monk, obviously. But if you know, and it's tied to your level up, but it again doesn't give you it when you're other classes. It's obvious, but when you think about it in the back ends of things, it's hard to do that to make it just for one class if it's based on level up and stuff. So anyways, you guys don't care about that. So something like that, where for different classes who have options like that, I want it available in this thing. So if someone is not using key, right, they can just ignore that thing entirely. But if they're wanting to cast Find Familiar or do something else, then with Wild Shape, then they have the option to do that. So that's what's next. The other thing that I've been working on is this one here. Oh, actually, I was going to go look at Tanium stuff. So this one here, I actually haven't even looked at this yet. So this is Tanium is kind of the assistant to the assistant. So he's a great guy. He helps me out with the GM prep and the lore stuff. So if I'm the GM assistant to Coach, he's the GM assistant to me. You know, but really we just kind of work together. So let's see. Phoenix side quest brought enemies to the Thalnari dungeon. This is the one we needed to look at. Perfect. So there's a dungeon in the Thalnari, like hidden in the world. And spoilers for people who are watching the campaign if you wanted to avoid this. This is the campaign idea of a massive dungeon that they have to go through in order to complete a big part of the story, right? And so this is kind of the rundown of like, okay, well, what could this be, and what could this not be, and what's it look like? And as you can see, is the first pass. So I'm going to be looking over this and then figuring out, okay, what does Coach want? What's this going to look like? Because we're far away from this, but we want to be prepared, right? We want to be prepared. So as far as all that goes, this is basically, again, what we're going to be doing on these live streams. It doesn't look like we have much people in the chat. Maybe this is a bad time. I'm trying to play with the times a little bit. So I might cut this this live stream short. But the plan is to do this stuff on stream with you guys. To get your ideas, get your feedback, figure out basically in a team effort these campaigns. Kind of allow you guys to like help create something for the Dungeon Coach and help his campaign. and DC20. So in a way, where you guys are not devs, but I am one, and you can and maybe it sounds kind of cheap, like, oh, you can do my work for me, but it's not that. Just allowing you to have your small part, right, in creating whatever part of DC20 happens to be on the table. So next time, what we'll do is we'll start out with kind of a poll of like what we wanted to work on. If we wanted to work on more of the GM side of things, the story side of things, the lore side of things, or if we wanted to do more of like the dev, the mechanic side of things, even the Notion side of things. So we'll do that next time. If there's any other questions you guys have in the chat of things that you'd want to see, please let me know. Comment them down below. And then we can just kind of make this as we want going forward. So until next time, go out there and make your world a better place. Thanks, guys.